Today is Friday, December 1st, and I'm just wondering, when was the last time we saw a more tense regular season football game?
And now, a word from our title sponsor.
Are all financial advisors fiduciaries? Fewer than you think. Not knowing could reduce your lifestyle. Hi, I'm Mitch Kramer, founder and CEO of Fluent Financial. A fiduciary is a regulatory term to reduce conflicts of interest in wealth management. A fiduciary always works in your best interest. A non-fiduciary advisor might put their compensation or company ahead of yours. At Fluent Financial, we are certified financial planners acting as fiduciary advisors. To learn more, go to fluentfinancial.com or Fluent Financial's YouTube channel.
Now, you listening may not be in charge of purchasing seasonings for your home, but you do know what tastes good, really good. Goodness Steak Seasoning is terrific. No sugar, no MSG, no gluten, great flavor. Get Goodness Steak Seasoning by going to the website bringthetasty.com. Oh, hail. No, I'm not cursing. That's the name of a terrific Dallas roofing company in business more than a decade. They handle residential or commercial properties. And those weird insurance forms that seem to be written in a foreign language, Oh, hail can simplify those for you also. So the next time something happens to your roof, just say, Oh, hail. OHHAAIL. OHail.com. What a game between the Cowboys and the Seahawks. What a game. The narrative about the Cowboys was, what would they do when they met a good team? Now, Seattle's not a great team, but they are a good team. And Dallas had not beaten a team this year with a winning record. And this game went back and forth, and back and forth, and back and forth. Dallas trailed at home for the first time this season. Dallas trailed at the half. Dallas trailed after three quarters. In the game, there were 18 combined drives by the two teams, and neither team ever punted. That's only the fifth time in NFL history that there was a game in which there were no punts. It was not a clean game. There were 257 combined yards on penalties. There were flags everywhere, and key flags, flags that kept drives alive where eventually teams scored. But the will on each side was incredible. It was draining just watching the game. You kept sitting on the edge of your seat because there were so many scoring plays, you just wondered when it would happen again. Both sides kept digging down. There was not a hint of give up. On the Cowboys side, DaRon Bland has become a star cornerback. 7 interceptions this year to lead the league in interceptions. 4 touchdown runs backs on interceptions. Talk of Bland being maybe Defensive Player of the Year. So what happened Thursday night? Seattle went right after DaRon Bland and torched him. In this game, it came down to the defensive line for the Cowboys. Oh no, they never got a sack in this game. The 4 sacks were all by the Seattle defensive line. But in the fourth quarter, 3 times, Dallas stopped Seattle on 4th down. And each time, it was the defensive line doing it. DeMarcus Lawrence stuffed Zach Charbonneau on 4th and 1 to turn the ball over to Dallas. And the next drive, on heavy pressure, Smith threw a no-chance pass. It was way over the head of his intended receiver. And finally, in the waning moments, with Seattle needing a touchdown to win, on 4th down and short again, Mike Parsons came in and smashed Geno Smith as he threw the ball for an incomplete pass. And that was the last chance for Seattle. But there was one moment in this game, one key play in the fourth quarter that could have changed everything. Seattle had the ball leading 35-30. They had just stopped Dallas and forced a Dallas field goal that cut the Seattle lead to 5 points. They made 2 first downs on the drive. Each team drove up and down the field the entire game. They'd moved to their own 45 with 1st and 10. And on first down, Seattle, which had been throwing short passes or running the ball with Zach Charbonneau, went for it. They went deep down the middle to dangerous Tyler Lockett. He was wide open, and there was no potential tackler around him. And around the 35-yard line, he had an open field. Would he have scored on the play? Would he have gotten the ball inside the 20, inside the 10? We'll never know. Tyler Lockett dropped the ball. He simply dropped the ball. Eventually, Seattle on this drive would give it up on downs. Dallas would drive for a touchdown to go ahead for good. Now, Dallas has beaten a team with a winning record. They've won 14 consecutive home games, and they've scored at least 40 points for the 4th consecutive game at home. That's an all-time NFL record. But this game was a coming-out party for one Dallas player, Dak Prescott. He was so sharp in this game, did not commit a turnover, threw for 299 yards and 3 touchdowns, and 7 solid running plays, and a couple of just marvelous escapes to prevent sacks and lead to gains. You know, there had been talk before this game of Dak being an MVP candidate. But to be an MVP candidate, it takes games like this. Games where you're truly challenged by an opponent playing at a high level. Dak wasn't an MVP candidate coming into this game in my mind. Oh, he had wonderful numbers, but he was like the Cowboys. He had to prove it against good teams. Well, tonight, on national TV, with the entire NFL watching him, I believe Dak truly entered that conversation. But now, it gets harder. Yes, Seattle's a pretty good team, but next week the Eagles, Bills, Dolphins, Lions await. If this Dak Prescott performs in those games, if this Dallas team wins those games, this is a potential MVP candidate, and this is a possible Super Bowl champion.
Today's episode has been brought to you by Fluent Financial, by Oh Hell Roofing, and by Goodness Steak Seasoning.
Just Wondering is a production of DSP Media for FanStream Sports. You can find Norm's show along with other great programming at fanstreamsports.com.
Thank you for listening to today's episode of Just Wondering. If you enjoyed it, please hit follow. Then each episode every weekday will be delivered straight to you. And if we might ask one more favor, please share it with friends. I'm Norm Hitzges, and every day I'll be just wondering about something.
And I'm Mary Hitzges, and I'm just wondering too.